Right on. So we are now live again on
Cynthia's
YouTube.
here.
Yes. Hey. I
Oh,
yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah, that's okay. So welcome back. This is the day that we are diving into a special topic on cellular inflammation. The episode is called Tame the Flame: Healthy Swaps to Reduce Cellular Inflammation. And this is episode 102 of the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast. I am Coach Tensi.
I'm Coach Soul.
And we are Ufulu Child. Ufulu means freedom. And this is our daughter, Omi.
That's her daughter, Omi, who loves Daddy's voice.
Yes. And today, we're going to be getting into some stuff. Okay. Yes, we are. Yesterday began it. We were talking about hey, sweetie. We're doing the podcasting. I know you want to say what's up. Okay. Let's get you up. All right. Yesterday we talked about some foods that are really helpful, and even a tea that's helpful. And it was also dropped. Hey, love. We'll see you soon. Get some burps in. There was also a website dropped for where you can find little plants of medicinal herbs that will be supportive in the growing your own food, the self-sustainable community vibration. Okay. So that was yesterday for Cleanse Day. And today, I really my intention is to highlight some environmental toxins, to highlight some food swaps, and get into these things so that, if you're a working mom struggling with an autoimmune condition, or you're a freedom seeker and you just want to, be more informed so that your kids or your nieces, nephews, and teens can have something to look for in terms of, okay, how do I stay healthy in this toxic world? Then you can share this information with them. Okay, so why cellular inflammation matters? Because if you've ever experienced anything like brain fog or chronic illness or fatigue, or trouble sleeping, or the itis, or any of those sorts of things, they're all connected. Or pains in the body, if you've ever experienced any of that, it's all connected to cellular inflammation. And it's just a fancy phrase that really just means your cells, they feel like they on fire. Okay, inflammation means inferno within this, and the cell is what we're talking about, the within. Okay, so we here to put the fire out. Okay, we don't need the fire in the cells. All right, we don't need the membrane, the protective outside of the cells, to be in a state where it's trying to keep all the toxins in and avoid new nutrients from getting in, because it's so overwhelmed. And this is what leads to disease, because that unhealthy cell multiplies. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, the cancer rate is 700 times what it used to be. Who knew? It was all connected to lifestyle. All right. Hey, good day, love. Black Light Hip Hop is in Instagram land, joining the live. I appreciate you, family. Let's keep it moving with some intentional swaps that are small but really mighty. All right. So first of all, what causes cellular inflammation? So we talked about it a little bit in last episode 101 yesterday, but some of the big things that really are the worst offenders when it comes to causing cellular inflammation is refined sugar. So that would be like your table sugar, the uh, NutraSweet, the artificial sugars and sweeteners, and high fructose corn syrup. My goodness, that's in uh, all of the things. The processed fats that are like heavily processed fats. The bad fats are vegetable oil, canola oil, um, peanut oil, soybean oil, corn oil. The list truly does go on. And uh, yada, 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 bing, bang. There are a few good fats that we've talked about in previous episodes, but I just want to focus on the worst of the worst today. Um, in your margarines and your vegan butters, you'll find partially hydrogenized oils. These are the trans fats that, in any amount, they're detrimental to the body and will cause cellular inflammation. And then also some other things to avoid that directly cause it are the artificial additives. So when you flip that package on the back, that jar, that whatever it is on the back, the bag, and you look at the ingredient label and it reads anything that sounds like a chemical name, okay, do a quick little search. If you did a quick little search and you searched the name itself and then side effects, if you see anything that sounds crazy to you, you may want to just be mindful with that. Okay, especially if you're struggling with any sort of autoimmune condition, your body's already in crisis, it's already overloaded, and the intention is to bring it back into balance so that the self-healing mechanisms in your body can start popping and doing what they need to do to heal and reverse the chronic illness. Okay, so the reason why this is something that is, I'm so inspired and motivated, and I feel like I'm called to speak on, is because my mom was diagnosed with cancer in 2016, and she told us on New Year's Day, and everyone was just huddled up in the living room, and I was in tears. We were crying, and it was a moment of distress because we were already vegetarian, we were already not taking a ton of pharmaceuticals or anything like that. We were already doing some things that we would have thought this could never happen to us, as a family. And the truth of the matter is, with all of the thousands, tens of thousands of chemicals that have been added to the food system and called safe by people that don't that if you pay a certain fee, they'll let it be. um, and they were causing all of the cellular inflammation in my mom's body to the point that it built up over 7 years. It takes 7 years for cancer to develop into um, a rare form of cancer in her jaw. So she went through radiation therapy and all of those things. She went through surgery. They messed up with the surgery, disfigured her face, and they all the radiation therapy years down the line. It was found that it also damaged her jaw, so her jaw deteriorated. They had to take out all the teeth in order just to save her life because her body was overtaken. Even though she was cancer free now, thanks to the herbs that and the lifestyle changes, but she went back to certain eating patterns and lifestyle habits that uh, caused the cancer in the first place. And it led to now she's actively combating these an overgrowth of bacteria and fungal infections. So whenever you have stuff like eczema, I used to have eczema 20 years of my life. It's like a fungus infection on the skin, right? So how do we combat this with the stuff that we're eating? We hear all the time, oh, the standard American diet is killing you, blah, blah, blah. And that's real. But now the question is, okay, what do I eat? What do I eat? Okay, what am I supposed to eat? What you supposed to eat if we aren't eating those things? And so that's what we're gonna get into heavy today. Does that sound okay with you? I'd like to ask for your consent and permission because this is important stuff and I want to make sure that you're engaged, right? So let me know in the comments if you're watching, if you are tracking with me, because we're gonna get into some stuff and you might want to get your little pen and paper or watch the replay if you're driving, just so you know. Okay, let me know if you're with me. We're gonna get into the healthy swaps for the big things, and these are things that you, if we are truly gonna heal, you have to limit, you have to avoid, and you have to completely eliminate certain things. Okay. um, and at first it might just be in moderation, right? But eventually we'll find that the pain only comes when certain things are in the system, until your body is built up enough that it can actually take it and box down the things that are causing disease, right? Um, yeah, and then you can add some things back, but just you know what you're doing now, right? So first things first, there are three main categories that we talked about as to what are the three biggest things that are causing inflammation on a cellular level that's damaging the DNA in our body. And the DNA is like the instruction for health in our body. And when the DNA is damaged, it will create these unhealthy cells, and that leads to disease. That makes sense. So we want the DNA to be healthy to support us in the larger vision that we have in your life. You have these goals, you have the things that you feel called to do, and you literally cannot, if you can't heal yourself, you won't be around long enough to do those things that you need to do, when it comes to making sure that your kids are healthy and living a long life that is actually fulfilling to them, and that you're being the living example of that. So that's what this is about. This is about being the living example, because the babies don't follow what we say, they follow what we do. They follow what we do. Um, and we can do this. We can do this. Anything can be reversed. So here we go. First swap. This one is for the thing that had me in the biggest of its clutches. It's for the thing that is the culprit for a lot of our cravings, okay? When it comes to food cravings, and the image comes into your mind of the breads, of the salty, of the crunchy, of the things, the sweet. So this first one that we're going to dive in, everyone that I know has struggled with the sugar addiction at some point. We talk about sugar, okay? Processed sugar, table sugar, the sugar that caused the sugars, okay? um, when I'm being playful when I'm saying the sugars, because I really mean pre-diabetes and diabetes and all of the things like that. Any sort of dementia, if you know anyone that struggled with Alzheimer's, dementia, or brain fog, or anything like that, it's caused by the blood sugar being too high. So what is the healthy swap for sugar? Like, say that you want to make something where you put like a little extra sweetener in it, just to be fulfilled, right? And it could be anything from oatmeal to um, Thanksgiving's coming up, candied yams, boom shakalaka. What sugar are we using? Okay. Um, some of the best that I've come across, honestly, if you're making something like sweet potato pie or breakfast, or any sort of thing where you just want a little extra sweetness, but you need kind of like a granulated sugar, is coconut sugar is a great swap for that. It has a more of a rich color, so it'll look in baked goods or things like that more like if you're using brown sugar. But coconut sugar is lower on the glycemic index, and what that means is kind of like, think glycemic, think glucose. When you Hear glucose, think sugar in your blood, and it's connected to your blood sugar. Okay, so lower on the glycemic index means that it's healthier for your body because your body won't be overloaded all at once with a ton of sugar. So now there's a mountain of sugar, and your cell is like, you gave me a shovel, and that's Kilimanjaro. What you want me to do? Okay, what you want me to do? I can't do with the shovel. You need to give me a better tool if you want me to get rid of all the sugar. Okay, so so coconut sugar has it so instead of it being a mountain, now it's like you're actually able to break it down. It's being broken down more slowly, so it's not overloading your body. Um, kind of like if you had, um, if you're someone that don't really drink coffee or you try to avoid it, and because it makes you hyper, and you drink a little coffee and then you're like, oh my gosh, the jitters, it's all at once, it hit you like goodness. And you're officially hyper and overloaded all at once versus maybe if you had a different herbal tea and it's kind of like a pomo, it gently brings you up and it gently brings you back down. Okay, but it don't bring you too far down. It brings you to homeostasis. It brings you to balance. Okay, yay. So that's the difference when we talk about or we hear about glycemic index and swaps for sugars. We want to think about stuff that will even it out, that will slow down the breaking down of the sugar so that it's not all dumped into the bloodstream at once. Okay, so that's coconut sugar. It's phenomenal. If you are looking for something that is more so like a syrup type thing swap, you can utilize a little bit of agave. With agave, it's really like a quarter teaspoon of agave to 1 teaspoon of sugar because it's so incredibly sweet. Okay, but it's actually lower on the glycemic index. So agave nectar could be something. If you're really being in moderation, even maple syrup, if that's what you're going for, a little tablespoon, a little drizzle drazzle, you feel me? But if you are really struggling to get your blood sugar under control. And you're like, yo, fam, I just need something. I need something because the sweet tooth is heavy in me. However, I know that my body is a bit overloaded. Now, then I would strongly invite you to check out something called monk fruit. Now, has anyone ever heard of monk fruit? Let me know in the comments if you've tried monk fruit. Um, I personally love it. It's like 7 times sweeter than sugar, so you don't need but a little pinch. Okay, max in a whole pot of something, you could use like a teaspoon. It goes a long way, and it tastes good. It doesn't have like a back taste. It is so low on the glycemic index that it's registered as though you did not even have sugar if you're having the recommended serving sizes, right? So it's phenomenal for anyone that is struggling to get their blood sugar under control. And your blood sugar needs to be in control in order for you to have balance in your emotions and to have balance in your mind. If it's brought out of balance, then that's a sign that your estrogen's already off. You're experiencing bloating and brain fog, and if you're menopausal or perimenopausal or postmenopausal, even hot flash. Okay, so these are all signs. Affirm Life Daily in Instagram land says, yes, it's the truth as a sweetener. Monk fruit is that thing. Okay, but heads up, you might want to check on your ingredient label to make sure it doesn't have, there's this word, this additive that they've been adding into it now because mind control. um but it begins with an E, so flip your package to the back and make sure that it doesn't have an additive that begins with an E. It's it's Erythritol. Erythritol. these chemical names, y'all. They be trying to get us. Um, and and this is something that in studies it's been linked to cellular inflammation and disease. So they give you the good thing, but then they try to throw in something else. So what I like to do is, if you can find it organic, if you can find it to where the only ingredient is monk fruit, that's it, then winner, winner, chicken dinner, and you have made it. You have made it. That's that thing. That's the thing. You found the victory, the Rocky dance at the top of the steps. Ooh, ooh, victory dance is all in full effect. Okay. Because as a sweetener, this is really my go-to. I don't too much use much else other than maybe fresh dates and monk fruit these days. If I need to, a little coconut sugar. If I need to, if I would like to, little drizzle of maple syrup. Okay, but that tends to cover all of the bases because you find that you don't need as much, not nearly as much. If you tried to do as much, you're gonna be, yo, this don't even taste right anymore because you didn't need that much. All right. Um, but these are phenomenal no matter what you're cooking. If you want a little extra sweetness that you're not getting from fruits, like say it's something that you're cooking and you just want a little extra, go to these. Okay, we've talked about sugar. Let's shift gears to some of the other biggest offenders when it comes to cellular inflammation, which are the bad fats. There's good fats and there's bad fats. Bad fats are, they literally are so processed that they will turn your body, they'll turn the cells into your body into a fat cell, and they will store that toxin. And it's hard to get to that toxin in that fat cell to break it down and utilize it. So take a healthy stem cell that was probably going to be a muscle cell, is going to be something else, and these oils will make them will feel like they're catching on fire, inflame them, and then turn them into a whole other cell because now it's damaged. Now your body's like, we got to do something with it. It was just a fat cell. Okay. Yeah. So swaps for the bad fats that we talked about, like the biggest offenders that all of the nutritionists are now recommending because misinformation is canola oil and vegetable oil. Your vegan butters. I know. I know. I know. I know. We loved them. We loved them so much. And the partially hydrogenized oils, the peanut oil, corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. Okay, these are all bad fats that lead to cellular inflammation and disease. Now, on the other hand, what are the swaps? Let's get excited for the swaps. We have some high heat swaps. We have some low heat swaps. Okay. Some of the high heat swaps, if you're like, I'm trying to make me something on this stove, I need to make something that requires like a higher level of heat, whether it's a boil or it's a saute or whatever you would like that, then you're gonna want avocado oil. Period. Avocado oil, or if you're open to seed oils, then sesame seed oil. Especially if you're going for Asian cuisine vibe, sesame seed oil is the jam. But avocado oil is a staple. It even has kind of like a buttery back taste, which is nice for swapping out for when you're baking something, when you're cooking something. Just you would swap it out for avocado oil. It's similar to the molecular composition of what's needed to sustain healthy brain health. Yay! So it's protective to your nerve cells, your brain cells, avocado. So avocado oil, if you're going the oil route. If you're not going the oil route, well, before I get into those, other oils that are great, olive oil and coconut oil. Now, these two, olive oil and coconut oil, please, y'all, stop cooking with these. These are meant to stay raw. Okay. I know. I know. Especially if you had the Caribbean friend, or you, you Caribbean, everything's with coconut oil. I know. Or you Italian, everything is with olive oil. I know. But when we are cooking, let's use more so some of the high heat oils, and even grapeseed oil you can. But to me, it has a weird taste, so I don't really vibe with it in comparison. But with coconut oil, what I would recommend, if you're like, that taste has to be in here, go ahead and make your thing. Make your thing, okay? And then put it in after it's done doing the high heat cooking. If it's like low simmer, you can add it in, boom shakalaka, there you go. So because when we heat it past a certain point, it turns toxic. So it will then start to cause cellular inflammation. So these oils are meant to be kept raw or low heat. So thinking very low simmer, very low little bubbles and things, not much. No, don't go past that. Okay. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? All right. So those are the oils that are good swaps. They they support the body. You need good fats in order to make the hormones in your body. And the hormones, they are like the conductor in the music orchestra, telling your body, hey, we need this. Hey, we don't need this. Hey, this is how you're going to feel now. And all of that stuff. Okay. So, um, other good fats you can get from nuts and seeds. Honestly, all nuts and seeds except peanuts, right? Because nowadays they're all contaminated with mold. And so if you're already struggling with cellular inflammation, you're likely already also struggling with being overtaken by either fungus or bacteria. And especially these big companies making this, and how they store the foods for long periods of time in transit, they're not as concerned um, about whether it's contaminated with mold these days. So just be mindful. Mold is horrible to the body. If you're experiencing something like that, please incorporate some baking soda into uh, into your system to help combat that, because that's one thing that fungus cell or fungi or bacteria cell cannot interact with it, especially if it's a bad bacteria, bad fungus. There's good and bad, but the good helps build up your immune system, and the bad will tear it down. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. So any other nuts and seeds, almonds, all of them things, sunflower seeds, not sunflower oil, but the seeds, hemp seeds, they are a complete protein. They're phenomenal. And they also give you the omegas. Like if you're chasing fish, you get that from hemp seeds. Same thing with chia seeds. All right. But hemp seeds, they just healthy fat as well. It's just phenomenal. Avocado, fresh avocado. And these are the healthy fats that are vital and needed in order to sustain your body, to keep your body in function. So keep that in mind. Last big swap would have to be around the the stuff that has additives. So let's talk about hey sweetie. Oh, we just popped back into the room. Let's talk about some of the environmental toxins. Because we talked about stuff to cover sweet. Ooh, salt. Salt comes before that. Table salt, y'all. Lowry's seasoned salt. Okay. If it says salt, and that's it, before the comma, on the ingredient label, that's table salt. And that causes a lot of cellular inflammation because it's highly processed. They add chemicals into it. It's not real salt. And they took out the iodine, which your body needs in order to regulate your hormones um, and heal your thyroid and your different glands in your body. All the things that tune up with your chakras as well. Okay, we need some things to come into balance. So some things to swap table salt with would be, and if you know some already, put them down in the comments, right? So we have sea salt, there's Celtic salt, there's even if you want like a eggy taste, you can use black salt. There's Himalayan sea salt. They have trace minerals in them that your cell needs to come into balance. So when we struggle with keeping water weight or water retention, it's because the balance of minerals in your body is off to the point that your cell can't bring in the water that it needs in order to keep your DNA healthy, in order to keep your body healthy on a cellular level. So it's being stored elsewhere. It's not being properly used. Yes, Affirm Life Daily. Cynthia, hey girl, says Redmond real salt, seasoned salt tastes real good. Okay, so if you're looking for a seasoned salt swab, then and you don't feel like making your own, like I'd be doing, Redmond's real salt, seasoned salt. Boom shakalaka. There you go. All right. They make real good sea salt too. Yes, I have it in my cabin right now. Redmond sea salt is a great swap. You can find it everywhere. I'm not gonna say everywhere. You can't find it at the corner store. I'm sorry, but Walmart, HEB, if you're in Texas. If you're not in Texas, they probably have it at what other stores carry it? Does Target carry it? I feel like they do. It's available on Amazon. Boom shakalaka. And same thing with the monk fruit. If you're not finding it in your store, check out Amazon. That's where I got mine. All right. So those are the biggest offenders when we're talking about healthy swaps for the foods that we're eating. It's the small things, right? And other than those things, we know you can walk the perimeter of the grocery store and you can go into the produce section and get the whole foods, get the whole apple, get the whole celery, get the whole thing, right? And get you can use dried beans if you're trying to save money, or canned beans. Just make sure it's like BPA free can, because little did we know BPA in the food packaging in those containers, they are contaminating the foods and they disrupt hormones. So getting the body out of whack so that it starts sending signals like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. We need more of this. Oh my, whenever you come across someone that they're in crisis, it's hard for them to think clearly. They're like calling shots that are wrong and just ends up causing more trouble than needed to happen. Okay, so those are some things to keep in mind. And BPA is typically found in plastics. It's found sometimes in metal. So whenever you're shopping, um, especially for canned goods, look for BPA free in the can. If the ingredient label can just be sea salt, if it can be the actual thing, say if it's beans and black beans, if it can be organic, thank goodness, that's great. But if it's not, then we're working there. We're working toward there to really reduce some of the stuff. So if you're short on time, get the little can of organic, if you can find it, organic black beans. Oh yeah, that doesn't have any oils added into it, doesn't have any extra, even citric acid causes nausea and diarrhea and all this stuff. And it's in like everything now. Goodness. So that's a healthy swap. If you're struggling to find canned goods that have simple ingredients, I mean, you can find them at, the local grocery store, but also Sprouts has it. Trader Joe's, check out Trader Joe's, they've got some better prices. Those are some places that you can look to. Stainless steel water containers. I just had one. I found one on Amazon that is phenomenal. So if you're really trying to get your hormones back into balance so that your mood can be on point, you can be focused, you can have better rest at night, then we're looking at removing some of the environmental toxins like the plastics and the pesticides and the heavy metals in the deodorant or in the um, medications or in the tampons and the pads or whatever it is. There's healthy swaps for all of these. And if you would like, I can let me know and I can share my Amazon list that has like just all of the different stuff, like swaps for regular everyday products, even soaps, that don't have any extra craziness in it. And you can use these to really just get the stuff to make sure that what's on your skin, because anything that we put on the skin goes directly into the bloodstream. So making sure that what's on your skin, in addition to what we already talked about with what we're eating, right, what we're drinking, is actually healing for us. It doesn't have anything added in it that will cause and get in the way of our health goals, because it's just equally about removing the things that are causing the disease as it is incorporating things that are going to support the body in healing, right? Because you can add good water into a bowl of mud, but it's still a bowl of mud until you should have dumped out that muddy water first and then now added in the new water. So that's why we talk about this stuff to begin to make little tweaks to optimize. Last swap I want to mention when it comes to water, because when it comes to food and water, these are some of the most essential things, right? So when we're talking about your drinking water, right? If you were like me, you started off with the Brita filter, okay? You're like, yes, I drink filtered water. Yes, I do. Yes, and you probably had it in the fridge, okay? And it was a plastic container. All right, that's what it is. Cool. So here's a healthy swap that will keep your hormones still in balance. We already talked about the container for the water bottle. Um, it could be stainless steel container. If you have a straw, it's easier for you to actually drink the water and stay accountable for that. But the water itself, if you're looking for something that can get you a really high quality level of water and on a budget, so I'm talking like $40, then there's a filter that takes out, look for filters that take out heavy metals, that will take out the fluoride, and chlorine, and that will take out all of the impurities, that will take out the, like some of the bad bacteria as well, right? This is important, right? There's one that I love. I put it on the sink, and I have a different one for the shower head, because those are kind of like the high traffic areas when it comes to water. What you bathe with, what you shower with, and then what you drink. So I use a zero water filter. The company's called Zero Water. It's a zero water filter on the sink. If you're just looking for a low budget something until you can get fancy, okay? With a whole home water filtration system that's alkaline and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. Cool. If you're not there yet, you're not there yet. That's cool. That's what we talk about right now. So zero water filter on the sink, as like one of those sink mounted water filters. And then if you really want to take that up a level, you can either get an alkaline water filter and pour the water into that one. Just make sure if it's plastic, do not put it in the fridge, because the plastic chemicals and things, the hormone disruptors, will leak out of the water, will leak into your water and into your body when you drink it. So that's why plastic water bottles, if you kept it in the car, if you put it in the fridge, in the freezer, stop doing that. Please stop doing that. Because it's bringing the body further out of balance. Okay, so zero water filter, you can get an alkaline water pitcher, or if you do not want to do that, here's another quick hack. You have your filtered water, right? You filled up your water bottle, Boom shakalaka. You're in the zone. It's either glass or it's stainless steel because you're fancy. All right. Now, you have your water in there. You can put in your pinch of your sea salt, little pinch. You can put in a little pinch of baking soda. The baking soda will alkalize your water. The sea salt will have the trace minerals to remineralize your water. Give it a little stir clockwise. You start to see that little tornado whenever you spin or shake up water bottle. It starts to create that little tornado. That's restructuring the water so that your body can better absorb it. Okay, give it a little counterclockwise. Get that little tornado in there in that water. That is helping to restructure the water. Okay, breaking up the water molecules so that they can be absorbed into your cells, so that your cells can actually hydrate and be popping, and you feel all good and you got that energy. Yes. All right. Now, one last thing that I do, you don't have to, but because water is living, I do it, is I speak good words into the water. Okay. If you have a good intention for your day, for your life, for your health journey, you can speak that over your water. Then you drink your water. You don't have to say it out loud. People don't have to know what you're doing. I'm just shaking up my water, but that's what it is. Okay. And this will do so much good because the baking soda, it pulls heavy metals out of the body. Okay. The um the sea salt helps rebalance the minerals in your body so that the water can actually be taken in. And the baking soda and sea salt also will help to alkalize the body. Disease cannot prosper in an alkaline environment. Everything in your body should be alkaline except for your stomach. Okay. And that's all I got because Soul just came in and he just reminded me that it's a long episode. Thank y'all for sticking it out. So we're going to wrap up and let me know one healthy swap that you do in the comments that has been so helpful for you in your journey so that we can all kind of hear together and learn together and that this can be a very prosperous and beneficial little community that we're building here. So let me know in the comments what's one healthy swap that you like that has helped you phenomenally. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be food related. It could be related to your skin care or your hair care. It could be related to anything touching your body. Okay. Let me know a healthy swap. Put it down in the comments and we'll see you in the next episode where we'll get into movement, intentional movement to open up those detox pathways so the waste of toxins can actually leave the body. Tomorrow for Move Day on Thursday. And thanks for tuning in. Sending unconditional love always and always. And I'll see you tomorrow, loves. Peace.